I've certainly got a lot of comments on this channel asking me why don't we just call it Tailosive Tesla or, Tesla fanboy or Tesla sheep or anything, just incorporating Tesla in the brand because that seems to be the vast majority of what we talk about on this channel. But the main reason I still call it Tailosive EV, because I do enjoy talking about electric vehicles outside of Tesla, is I just feel like their company and their brand is doing the most to change the EV game. So if you want to run a channel about electric vehicles and the state of electric vehicles, it does require quite a bit of focus on Tesla because they are making them affordable to the masses and bringing EVs to the most amount of people in probably the most innovative and game-breaking ways. Between how quickly they are innovating on batteries and how quickly they're scaling production of those batteries and how many factories they're putting up all over the world. Yes, there are other major players outside of Tesla, but I just feel like because they are dominating EV sales and they are setting records when it comes to range and miles driven and how far an electric vehicle can go and how great an electric vehicle can be, they kind of set the standard for the century. And because of that, that's where a lot of my bias comes in. I have driven electric vehicles and most of them were Teslas, and Tesla is definitely the brand that got me interested in EVs in the first place. It's the brand that showed me how futuristic and how technology focused vehicles can become and how much better a driving experience can be once we start moving away from the internal combustion engine. And no, I'm really not much of a car guy before Tesla existed. I was more just about, okay, getting me from point A to point B, but realizing how software is becoming more and more important in our vehicles and how crucial it is for energy efficiency to be more prioritized in the future, and seeing this radical revolution take place on how electric vehicles are going to get cheaper and cheaper and the range is going to get better and better, to the point that I think in the next decade we're probably going to start seeing electric vehicles start to cost up front the same price of gas vehicles, not even talking about longevity or how much it costs to operate. And then in time we'll probably even start to see them have lower starting prices than gas cars because there's less overall parts, there's less complexity, and it's only a matter of time before the fewer parts electric vehicles have start to become more affordable, more cheap, and all that comes with scaling of production. And I think Tesla will reach that point, and with all of the advancements in autonomous driving Tesla is discovering for themselves, and other electric vehicle startups are discovering as well and trying different methods of having the car being capable of driving itself, whether you use vision, whether you incorporate LiDAR. I feel like Tesla is the spearhead of this EV revolution, and I enjoy looking at the outside options. I enjoy seeing what Porsche is coming up with and how Ford is making the Mach-E and how Lucid is going to handle their first launch and how Rivian is going to handle their first deliveries. I do want to make videos on them and I do want to talk more about them in the future, but I still gotta admit, when it comes to production capacity, when it comes to range, when it comes to battery tech, and when it comes to autonomous driving, Tesla has still a huge lead on everybody, and that doesn't even take into consideration the profitability of those vehicles. But the reason I like uploading videos daily is because it gives me a chance to kind of get more in depth on my thoughts and my opinions on competitors' EVs and Tesla as they're growing and as we're speculating on what they could do next. Because from reading the news and watching a lot of other EV YouTubers, I can tell you things are not always as black and white as they may seem. It's simple to look at how VW is pricing the ID4 and the range it offers, or looking at how Ford is building the Mach-E and thinking, okay, here's some Model Y competition, but we're not even considering the fact that Ford is only planning on building 50,000 units in the first year of production, and given the huge battery packs in the Mach-E, they're more than likely losing money on every vehicle sold. And while we may look at the Porsche Taycan and think, wow, 200-mile range, that's really bad, but then out-of-spec motoring is able to achieve this cannonball record of driving a Porsche Taycan 4S from New York to LA in record time using Electrify America, and they were able to beat the travel of coast-to-coast time of a Tesla Model 3, which the EPA says has a much higher range than 200 miles. So better energy efficiency plays a role in the range of the Porsche Taycan, but because the EPA is built for more testing in the sub 70 mile an hour department, that's why a lot of the time Teslas will be listing an EPA range much higher than they're actually able to achieve, whereas vehicles like the Taycan is having an EPA listing much lower than what it is actually capable of achieving. And also talking about the C curve of how long you're able to charge an EV at a certain speed. So while Tesla might be able to reach 250 kilowatt charge rates, how long is it able to sustain those? performance. And are other EVs out there being listed with slower charge rates, but being able to sustain those speeds for longer, which results in the car overall charging faster? There's all kinds of nitty-gritty details like this, and there's a lot of people that are just unaware with electric vehicles and not really accustomed to the thought process of charging from home, and not realizing that, no, it's not just about taking gas stations out and replacing them with EV charge points. It's more about rethinking the way we use energy and rethinking the way we refuel our cars. And I hope that with daily uploads and diving more in depth with these types of subjects, I can be able to cover more of the complex transition that moving away from the combustion engine is going to require. And there's going to be a lot of different thinking moving forward, and there's probably a lot of people that are always going to be skeptical and hesitant towards EVs just because it's different, they don't know much about it, and there's so much uncertainty with it. So with Tailosive EV, I'm hoping we can continue in the future to make it seem more practical, more approachable, and overall exciting for everybody, knowing that cars are just going to get more fun, they're just going to have better performance, they're going to have more features, and of course they're going to be safer and they're going to be cleaner for our atmosphere and the gases we're bringing in every single day, and trying to make this EV transition something everybody can be excited for. So because Tesla, I think, is doing so many things that no one else is doing in the industry, and because they kind of started this whole EV revolution, and I think the market is showing that, yeah, EVs are going to be the future. That's why Elon Musk has now recently become the richest man alive. It shows that there's some trust there in that brand, and there's some belief now of Tesla's vision of electric vehicles taking over and becoming the standard. And I, for one, am just very excited to watch this transition take place, and I hope you guys are too. So yes, there will be lots of videos in the future covering other EVs outside of Tesla, but because they're doing the most in the industry and they're moving the fastest, that's why the majority of my videos are about Tesla. Thank you all for watching. Hope you have an excellent rest of your day. Take care.